say on a board game.
It is.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. All right, we'll get into recording right now. Ready? Welcome to another segment of Lore You Should Know. I am Greg Tito, and I'm joined by Mr. Chris Perkins.
Hello.
Hello. Today on this segment where we will talk about a little bit of Dungeons & Dragons lore for your own education, here is one that is Aurora's Whole Realms Catalogue.
Yes. Very good.
We're going to talk all about this specific location within the city of Waterdeep.
So,
is it like a Sears and Roebuck catalog of...
I'm glad you mentioned it. Yes.
Is that where it was based?
That's exactly what it was based on.
Nice.
So,
Maybe we should tell people what that is.
Oh my God.
Since we have
you're
listeners
right.
who probably don't know.
So, well, you can tell them what a Sears catalog
All right,
is.
yeah. So back in the day, before there was an internet,
Yes.
people bought things, in person. Barring that, you didn't have anything until Sears and Roebuck came around, and they were like the mail order kings. A lot of the Wild West shop owners stocked their shops from this catalog.
Absolutely.
Because it was, all right, well, you can't get it. You can get it from Sears. Sears would ship it out to you. And then, of course, we now have the modern day retail chain named Sears is a evolution of that. And then, of course, basically Amazon and everywhere you order things online is also another extension of that. But back when Ed Greenwood was creating the Realms, Sears and Roebuck catalog was a very, very real thing.
Yes, and people depended on it. And so it was basically decided that the Forgotten Realms has the equivalent of that, and that is called the Aurora's Whole Realms catalog. Now, Aurora is a figure in the Realms. Mm-hmm. She is a business entrepreneur who basically started up this company, this red-haired beauty, who with great business sense. And so her company is actually located throughout the realms, very prominently in Waterdeep. She has Aurora's Whole Realms catalog operated out of 6 different shops in Waterdeep, where you can go pore over their catalogs, look through stuff, point at things and say, I want that, and then it will come to the shop and you can pick it up and poof, off you go.
Oh, all right. So it was very much just, here's where you can order magic items if you need them.
Exactly, yes. And there's like an Aurora's shop in Westgate, and there's another shop in this other city. They're basically scattered all over the realms, and there's really nothing else quite like it. And it is a direct analog of the Sears Roebuck catalog. It's sort of managed the same way, handled the same way. And back in 1st/2nd edition, TSR released the Aurora's Whole Realms catalog as a product. It was a paperback cover book about yay big and all black and white with pictures of all of the items and gold piece prices or copper piece prices, silver piece prices, and little descriptions of what they were. And they were all mundane. So there were no magic items in here whatsoever.
Oh,
it was
really?
all just mundane stuff.
The stuff that you'd be able to get.
You want to buy a harpsichord? Here it is. And actually had like a picture of a harpsichord and the price and talked about what a harpsichord is, because you probably didn't know it because you were like 12 years old and you've never seen one before.
Who listens to Bach anymore?
Yeah, it's like you can buy priestly stuff here, aspergillums and censers. You can buy thieves' tools. You can buy mallets. You can buy sheets. You can buy... It was just absolutely full of absolutely mundane stuff. And it's like looking at a hardware catalog.
Yeah,
essentially.
but a adventurer's hardware catalog.
But because it had gold piece prices and silver piece prices and gold and copper piece prices, it felt like something in-world.
That's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Similar to the Volo's guides, how they were like these in-world things.
Exactly. Yeah. So pretty much, and the role that it served in the game was it was really the first greatest expansion to the equipment list in Dungeons & Dragons. Prior to that, you had the list of equipment in the player's handbook, which mostly focused on adventuring gear like ropes and lanterns and mirrors and tinderboxes and stuff. The Whole Realms catalog product, when it came out, was the first time there was a D&D product that really expanded on that list of stuff and literally included everything from shoes and boots to different kinds of clothes and equipment, apparel.
That's so
hardware.
Interesting because I love that simulation idea of a D&D game. So creating a product that probably 99% of adventurers would never need, but this world building information is fantastic.
And I love the fact that you go to the entry and you want to buy a hammer, and they actually put a picture of a hammer in the book, like you wouldn't know what one of those looks like.
But they do that in all catalogs now, right?
Right. Yes.
Here's the item.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to make sure you know what it is.
There are all these little black and white illustrations of just common things in there, and it kind of makes it a magical little product. In fact, I think that if you had to go on eBay and try to find one old D&D product that you might actually use in your game more than any other, this is probably it.
Interesting, yeah.
And over the years since, we've never released anything quite like it.
Something that was so in-world that didn't really have, an applicable, story reason for it to be.
And all through second edition, other products would refer to the Aurora's Home Realms catalog as a sort of a go-to for equipment. So if you walked into, there's a Spelljammer box set that came out, and it described this place in space and this store where you can go to buy stuff. And it just says, see the Aurora's Whole Realms catalog for items that you can buy here. So
it makes it very easy.
It sort of threaded itself into all of these other D&D products over the years and became this kind of necessary resource for a lot of dungeon masters and a lot of DMs, because it was written like an in-world thing. They could just hand it to their players and say, okay, you want to buy stuff? Here, take a look in this catalog. Tell me what you want.
And it didn't contain any magic items at all? So that was is that something that was added later?
No.
It was always for mundane stuff.
That's correct. Yeah.
Got it.
The idea was conceived of by Anne Brown, who was a TSR employee back in the day, and then executed upon by a number of people on the TRPG staff. I think Robert King, who went on to write several novels, was the lead designer of the book.
Oh, cool.
And I can only just imagine, having writers actually just type up descriptions of some fairly benign things.
Here's a box.
Exactly.
It's got 4 sides.
Right. It's a wooden box.
Yeah, but now I'm almost wondering if, as a novelist, there was almost some threads of story that were woven throughout those entries.
It was all pretty spare. Like each entry was basically a paragraph.
Yeah.
And I think within that book, it was fairly thin. Like it might have been. It's a small book, but it might have been like 96 pages or something like that.
Yeah.
They would get anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen items on a page. So with illustrations for, a third of them or a quarter of them.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And so we still assume, even years later, that these places still exist in world. Where's Aurora? She might still be alive. She might not be. We don't know. But her company lives on, and you can go to Aurora's shops throughout the realms and buy all this stuff, which is kind of cool that it's sort of survived.
Yeah, throughout so many changes and events, there's still commerce that goes through.
Yep.
I like that a lot too. So there is definitely a shop in Waterdeep?
There are 6.
6 different shops in Waterdeep.
6 different places you can go to shop. Now, they don't necessarily have in the shops all of the inventory, but you can order them there. And then the items will be found and delivered. But yeah, they've got 6 shops scattered throughout, and which is unusual. Most cities don't have that many.
That does seem like a lot, but it's home base type of thing. Is there logistics and warehouse setup? Like, is it all stored in portable holes? Like, how do they actually do it?
Oops. Unclear.
It's
unclear.
Magic?
I think it depends on how much space they have. But it wouldn't be beyond the pale to think that they have magical receptacles to hold all this stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to actually open up this document, and it's not letting me.
No worries. So if you order it, is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Is it a long time, or is it instantaneous?
About 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, it is that. Is that send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
6 to 8, 10 days. Yeah.
It's 10 days.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it would be mundane. So that must be there must be a post system or something, which is rife for adventurer.
Absolutely,
hooks.
yes. And it also just makes for interesting mental imagery of you might be on a road, you might be on the long road, heading out of Waterdeep, and a caravan coming the other way has like a piano on the back of it. It's like, well, what the hell are you bringing that for? Oh, somebody from Aurora's catalog ordered it,
right?
We're bringing it, straight from Tribor or Yartar or wherever.
Or what a great, if you want to have an excuse for an adventuring party to be, caravans are often used, obviously.
Yes.
But that could be your whole campaign. It's just, hey, we go from place to place wherever we're supposed to help deliver stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're known for getting to places that are really hard to get to.
Yes.
If someone orders it in a
Yes.
cave in the mountains, you can go up there.
It's also good for just sort of demystifying things. Like a DM might not know right off the bat how much like an umbrella costs. But this whole Realms catalog will just tell you, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I didn't even think that, umbrellas existed in the realms, but I guess they do.
Yeah.
Right? Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not the same kind of spring, lock mechanism, but
yeah. I mean, they had umbrellas thousands of years ago, so
of course they would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So players can use this to as their own too.
So
to get some of this stuff.
The great thing about Aurora's Whole Realms catalog is even though it's now ancient, 30 years old or whatever, in real world years, it's still as relevant and useful today as it was when it first came out.
Yeah,
it hasn't dated itself out of the game,
right? Because
you could probably niggle over the prices and say, well, compared to the prices in the 5th edition Player's Handbook, these don't seem quite right, but whatever, blah.
Yeah.
And
fortunes change.
Exactly.
You never know
Yes.
what it's going to be worth,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. But that also, you can use that data if you want to do more of a simulationist type game of like, this cheaper in Neverwinter because those prices are real. It's just in the cities there are. But if you go to the smaller cities, you might be able to, have some real world trading things going on in your campaign, which is another part of D&D that I just love for some silly reason.
Yeah, it really sort of digs down into the economy of the world, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that it doesn't rely on magic items and, that is kind of interesting.
That is.
There have been other D&D books that have dealt with, that have, priced out, that have been just magic item compendiums and things like that, but nothing like this.
Yeah, nothing with just like, what does the world look like?
Yeah.
It's a good snapshot of that.
Yeah.
So we should reprint that, and then also some Waterdeep Wazoo articles.
I'm sure Aurora's Whole Realms catalog must be on DM's Guild.
Yes.
In PDF form, so people can probably get their hands on that pretty quickly. It is definitely worth a check out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great tool for people to use in their game.
Absolutely.
If people want to ask you how much an umbrella costs on Twitter.
Yeah. I am at Chris Perkins DND.
Excellent. I am at Greg Tito DND, and I'm going to say 3 silver.
Okay. If I could open up the folder, I would
you would tell me right away
off the bat.
All right. Well, we'll have someone check it for us.
Yes. I do not have that information codified in my brain.
It's not up there with all the Dragon Magazine issue numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be there soon.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, you guys. We'll be back next week with another Lore You Should Know.